Good afternoon, everyone. I hope that thus far you've had a wonderful week, and I hope that everything is good on your side. So far, you can see that the volatility, for this week begun today, right? Which is Wednesday. So actually, I expected price to, go a bit higher before we had this drop. But as you guys know, we were not, bullish on stocks. We were not bullish on the index futures at all, right? So, seeing this happen, no precision swing point, no sequential SMT, even though other things, were there, which I, was not, intentionally looking for. And, to be honest, it's Wednesday, which is the first day, whereas we have high volatility news events. So I definitely wasn't really interested in anything either. So you can see that, this already happened, right? Wednesday, we saw a injection of liquidity today during New York session, which, bred volatility. Tomorrow, which is Thursday, and as you guys can see, we have news events at 8:30 a.m. So the news events which were released at 8:30 a.m., usually give, a cleaner swing of price action than those that are like released, 9:30, right? Someone said that they thought that I was bullish with the Dublin theory. No. I was explaining to you why we had that reaction of price, right? So every reaction counts. Anytime, every reaction counts. On Friday, right, we have news at 8:30, right? So yeah, we expected some higher prices, but we did not get that, right? So this time, what were we? We were not, right, which will happen, right? Which is good to happen sometimes to let you guys know that I'm human, you get it wrong sometimes. But yeah, that's just how it is. So we'll touch more upon the topic when we get to the index futures. So here you guys can see the US dollar index. I'm using the TVC data, right? So the reason why I'm using TVC is due to the fact that it, gives you more data, stretching back in time. So you guys can see where we have buy side liquidity, which is at 121.020. And we have sell side liquidity here, 88.253. And here we have 70.69. So now we're actually using the time frames, right? Which would assist us in regards to the oracle theory, right? Something that, we left for, these latter months of the year. Thankfully, the leaking has stopped. And, I managed to get done most of the YouTube videos that, people had uploaded, but apparently all of the leakers are not, are gone. They're not here anymore, which is good. It had to get rid of, around 5 or so manually. And I guess that the rest of them dropped out, which is good, right? So here you can see that we are consolidated, right? We have been consolidating for the, past 2 years, which is something that I've already said. So if you look at price like this, what do you see? Yes, it's in an uptrend. Yes, it's also low probability due to the fact that we are, within such a tight range income, in light of the higher time frame, of course. So using this time frame, you can, if you're right, and which will happen whenever you study enough, practice enough, basically just backtest enough. That's basically all you need to do, right? The time that you put in will, be reflected upon your performance, right? So we have buy side liquidity here, right? We're expecting price to go higher if we are expecting to see, stocks drop. Right here within this range, anything can happen, right? As long as price is here, it's low probability, right? Eventually, of course. And, my long-term plan, the one, whereas, after, you actually invest when, prices are extremely low in regards to the stock market, right? And I said this already, I believe, right? I expect, 3 to 4 years of, the market just going down, which will be 100% confirmed the first year, right? Because it will be, quote unquote, tragic, for those that cannot see it coming. Right now, just looking at price right now, it would be impossible to see it coming, right? And this right here is the basis, right? This is the, starting point of understanding the Oracle theory, right? It used the US dollar to map out what you think will happen, right? So just looking at price right now, what do you see? You can see that obviously this is a market maker sell model, right? You can see the sell side liquidity that's being built up. You can see that there is no, sequential SMT at the top. And of course we need a major event which will cause a run on liquidity, or you'll have the run on buy side liquidity first, followed by the event which will cause a bearish shift of market structure. So basically, what one of the catalysts that I am expecting to cause stocks to go lower eventually will be what? A bullish dollar. And what would I expect to allow stocks to go higher? A bearish dollar. So we're expecting some run of liquidity, right? It could just run here. Doesn't have to go above this one, right? But it could, right? And remember right now, right? We are looking way ahead, right? We're looking way ahead. So there can be, things that, could happen politically, economically. We could have, some financial institutions shut down, hacks could go on, anything could go on. But what I'm certain of is, these lows, right? And what will actually confirm that, the top is in will be when the, bottom is in, for the stock market, right? Which I believe, we'll have sequential SMT between the quadrennial cycle, right? Between 2 consecutive years. So this is the starting point of, what else we will be talking about, and, of course, the things that are not in the chart. Here, you guys can see that still, and 1 second. Why is this on? Anyways. Still, the drawn liquidity, these highs, right? Still, you can see that we are still consolidating here, right? We're still consolidating. So even though we had that move in regards to the stocks today, in regards to the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, the dollar has not done anything, right? It has done nothing. But we will still look at why that happened. And yes, I missed it, but right, there are still ways whereas you could see what happened, right? There, obviously, I don't catch 100% of everything. I'm mostly busy, right? Most of the times, and really get any sleep due to the fact that the little one, always making noise. Anyways, starting to sound like ICT, ranting about random stuff. Don't want to do that. So yes, once the dollar, right, it breaks this gap right here, right, once it breaks the gap right here, right, then, we can be sure that we will see these highs. So it breaks the gap right here, short everything, right? Not financial advice. Here you can see that, and I remember that we pointed out these lows some time ago, right? Still, I believe that is the draw on liquidity, right? And here we have the Great British Pound overextended, right? And remember that we want to see the euro pierce this high before it fell, which is, something that happened. So it's actually, amazing to be seeing anything within this type of price action. If you look back, right, just using hindsight now, what do you see? All you see is chop. Nothing really makes any type of sense. It's just consolidation, consolidation, and consolidation, right? And of course, I've said this before, this is usually what happens leading up to, events which are underway, such as the presidential elections. Moving forward, I've always gotten questions in regards to stocks, right? Which assets do you use? Which assets do you use for sequential SMT in regards to stocks? So here we have sequential SMT, which is occurring between June and July. So what is that? That's doubling theory, right? That's what it is. So here we have, NVIDIA failing to take this high. And remember that here we did highlight that we had sequential SMT between NVIDIA and the S&P 500, right? So here we have sequential SMT between NVIDIA, sequential SMT between Meta, and sequential SMT between Tesla. So I put this here for, on purpose, right? Due to the fact that here we don't have, turtle soup. We just have price just, going higher above June during July. So this is June. It just continues going higher. Here, that did not happen. Price did not go higher than June here. So even though, you can't use this line to just, justify this, which is just for visual purposes, right? What matters is the closes, right? That's what matters. And here we have Tesla overextended, which is why we had price drop like this. Here now, you can see that here the price was where was it? Here we expected price to, push a bit higher. That did not happen. We did not get that. Right, so first of all, I want you guys to focus on these consolidations right here. Right, so here we have one, and I expected price to go a bit higher. It did not. Right, so this time they did not get, isn't correct this time. Right, which is that's something bad. Here we have consolidation. So we have one consolidation here. Here we have two. And then we have the third here. Right? Pay attention to this low right here. Right? So this would be, what Michael will call the, a breaker. But, this adds more depth to it. Right? So here we have ICT's breaker, this low here, then we have this high, which created sequential SMT. Then we had this consolidation here before, the low to breaker. Then price broke down. Right? So initially I expected price to push above here and push above here. But, we didn't get that. That would have, given us a structure break. So here, this consolidation, was formed the same time as this one, right? This price action right here is what, stabilized price action allowed it to reverse, which is, what we expected here. Here we expected price to go more, higher, but it didn't happen. So yeah, that's that again. So this consolidation here, before this low, price traded here. And between this consolidation and this low, we have this level, right? Which would be a gap in itself, but it would be categorized by this wicks low and this wicks low, right? It's between the center consolidation of this price swing here, right? We can see that price did not go above, or price reacted to this consolidation right here, didn't touch this one, and also this low, right? It's above this consolidation, whereas the consolidation here is above this low, right? So that in itself is a crack in correlation, right? Here, we just had price, just just fall today, which I would have wanted to see price go a bit higher, form something that, made sense to you all, something that we already talked about, but we did not see that. So come in, next month and the months after. To be fair, right, you don't need anything else, right? So you don't need to learn anything else. You've learned everything that you actually need. What you need to do now is study and backtest, because whatever we'll be talking about, will, most of it will be advanced. More advanced, it will be confusing. And if you don't understand already what's there, then you won't understand, what there is. Most of you don't need to be here anymore, right? Just saying it as it is, right? You should have, taken enough notes. You should be in the group of, people who are, passing their under challenges. Those of you that are, trading already, or, you should be on the market more sides than not. So obviously you should not be 100% correct, because that's never going to happen. That is impossible. Right? But you should have an idea of, what I'm going to say, before I even say it. Right? That's what you're aiming for. With that being said, here, right, and this is still Bitcoin, and we're still, interested in seeing price pushing above this high right here for Bitcoin, right? Whenever, right, we have the dollar, completely turn around, top out, I expect the crypto market to follow the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq, whereas we would definitely see some lower prices, right? With that being said, right, and I hope that you found this useful. There is a lot of information here. There's a lot of information already there, a lot, right? You literally do not need anything more than a higher time frame gap and sequential SMT, followed by a persistent swing point. Yes, we haven't seen, much high probability trades since lately. And, that's fine. That's normal. That's what usually happens during these times before these specific events. The algorithm isn't being changed or anything. Nothing has stopped. If you even realize, Michael himself, he's not doing anything, right? That's because he knows that now is not, the time to be doing anything, right? It's just that, over the past weeks, whenever I get something right, whenever, I'm on the right side, it's because I'm using, a number of concepts. I'm stretching myself, my ability, right, to, for you. So, yeah, with that being said, I hope that you found something useful from this. We'll be here Sunday again, right? And I hope that you take time out and study. Take time out and make notes. Take time out. Make sure that you have a model that works for you. Have a wonderful day.